funny trying to bring up my channel from, there we go. I always forget it's the icon on the top right. Channel from, okay, good, there we go. I just wanted to check that. Oh yeah, let me go back here. There we go. Yeah, that is my fan in the background. That sounds like a jet engine. It's kind of crazy how that works. Alright, so let's see if anybody pops in. I know I'm doing like a impromptu stream at like 11 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock Pacific time, so yeah, people are probably just waking up in LA over on that side of the world, so get some practice in. Bradley Beal. Okay, that's the first thing that I feel like I'm always doing is turning the shot meter off, because I don't know why it keeps defaulting back to that. I've always had that off. Glad you fixed Beal's shot. Man, I'm like, you know me, I get into the game, I just focus on playing the game and getting the ins and outs of the game before, I'm like, but I understand you pretty much, I'm like, you and I and a lot of others that play this game a lot had I think we had the advantage that, you know, we don't have to spend as much time, we don't have to spend as much time playing the game to start tinkering with it, because I'm like, honestly, you do a great job with your rosters that you put out, so it's no problem. And by the way, folks, I'm talking to Bills, if anybody's wondering. I know there's a second person that joined, or maybe that's, I don't know. It counts you when because I'm on the mobile phone checking the chat, and it includes even myself being in there. That's why, and it's funny because, okay, this is a duh moment, but for the longest time I always wondered who that one person that was always chiming in, not chime in, but that would automatically pop up. It was me the whole entire time. I was like, literally was watching myself and was thinking it was a different person that was like all faithful. I'm gonna tell you how long this dull moment has lasted. It ended today, but it basically has gone on ever since I had the PS4. So you're talking about, see, PS4 came out in 2014. You're talking about 5 years of thinking I had this one faithful viewer whenever I live stream. Hey, what's up, Izzy? Yeah, I'm in here in this 2K20. I'm in the 2KU. I'm doing a freestyle, so I'm just in here bullshitting. Well, actually, I'm just getting some practice in. I figured since I'm recording straight from the console, I can't record any sound, or unless it's ambient sound that you can hear on the mic. So, but yeah, for about 5 years, I thought I had a faithful viewer this whole entire time, but it was me checking in on my phone or whatever other device I was checking the chat in. So if anyone wants to roast me on that. But if you watched 8 Mile, that can only go for so long, because I've already let it out and let it be known. So there, have fun. Okay, Bill says, have you tried out the left stick moves yet? Pretty interesting. They are in a triple threat in post 2. Yeah. Matter of fact, during the demo, that was the video I put out. Was the and Scott OG corrected the terminology on it. I forgot what he mentioned it as, but when that popped up, that actually caught me off guard, and I was like, good, because you can do it while you're dribbling. You can also do it, I think, not so much when you're in the triple threat, or the post. It's more, once you're in those positions, then it kind of converts over to the right analog. But the left analog, you can like feign a first step. It's like a false first step move that you can do while dribbling. That's with the left stick. The right stick, that I'm like, it's your dribble / shot stick. So if you do that, it gives you that like that hezzy. So I'm just showing you guys just what I have. Shot timing on shots and layups, user timing, pro stick, all this. Let's see. Alright, so Bill says, nah, I have done them in the post too. You choose which way you want to face up. There are fakes too. I had to try that out because I tried to do it with the left being in the triple threat and nothing was happening, so maybe I just have to try again. But alright, and I do have sliders in here. These are my, well, it's the Bases Hall of Fame, and I'm like, right now, like I said, I'm just getting into the nuts and bolts of the game. So hiked up pass accuracy, lowered the dunk. Basically, myself and the CPU are even. Ball security, always about ball tangibility. So they try to dribble through somebody, the ball's coming out. Let's see, body up sensitivity. Now I hiked this up to 100 as a test. Right now I'm trying to, right now with 2K coming out as of right now, I'm just experimenting with, you know, what's working this year. Like I'm not gonna get into any My League or anything like that until I get this stuff straightened out. Now it's funny because a lot of people, they'll try these settings and then go into a game, but they won't. But what's perfect is having 2KU going into a scrimmage and testing out these sliders. I think that's where you want to try out these sliders, and the only thing that will probably be affected would be the fact that you do, well, some of us manually sub, others, you know, don't control much of the game. And I wish I would have saw Scott OG's stream for a couple of days ago. He asked a question about what modes, and he asked about, okay, is anybody into the defensive settings? I'd be the first one to tell you that I turn ace off. I've turned it off, like I got used to it when it first came out, but then I was just like, all right, let me turn it off because I want to control everything. I want to set up my strategy. I've had my own defensive strategy. It's like, look, I'm my own coach. I understand that there's an AI coaching profile for Scotty Brooks, but I'm the coach right now, so I have a different take on what I think the Wizards should be doing. And I think one of my favorite setups is always, like, if there's really no serious threat on the other team, I start out and it's like medium as far as like on ball defense, off ball defense, over. I want my guys to fight over screens, and I want my centers, because I don't really see them as mobile, to catch heads. So I want them to be where they are and be in proper positioning to stop a drive or be able to contest a shot or stop the screener from rolling or popping. So that's the way I have it. And what do? I go over on screens, off ball screens, trying to figure out what else I do. This year I'm noticing that I'm not gonna default to all to like force baseline. I'm gonna just keep that on auto. Excuse me, what else do I do? Everything else I kind of leave. Oh yeah, I do help no rotation. What I was realizing is that my team is not good enough to recover, so sending 2 people to help was not helping me defend the 3-point ball. So I do help no rotation. So that last guy, yeah, the next guy, it keeps them at, to me, I can get, in this day and age, it's better to give up the 2 than the three. Because people are shooting threes and long range shots at a high rate, and I want my team, the Wizards, in real life are bad at defending the three. So it's just like, look, just send one guy over. If they get the two, that's fine. I don't want them giving up the threes, especially like a team like the Golden State Warriors, where most of them shoot threes. Now, some of them can drive to the basket, a la Klay Thompson, but I want to defend the three against them, definitely. There's not a lot of teams that play the 90s form of basketball anymore. So, but I hiked up the pass speed a little bit because they really need to have it. They really need to have pressure sensitive pass speeds. It really needs to, if you tap it, it should be a lob. If you hold it down, it should be more like a bullet pass, just like it is in Madden. So they need to really do something about that. But to mitigate that, up the pass speed. You can get crisp movement around the perimeter, ball movement, helps with player rotation and stuff like that. Man, that pass speed slider helps when you increase it. So if anybody's complaining about the pass speed, this is how you mitigate it. Increase the pass speed. Don't just keep it at 50 and be like, they need to do something about the pass speed. It's too slow. Go in the sliders, increase the pass speed. Stop crying. So, here's some more sliders. And I was actually talking to a fellow YouTuber, Romy Rush, about the sliders. Okay, so gonna up the ratings first individually. Oh, okay. Alright, so Bills is like, I'm thinking about upping plays, passing lanes, tendency, and I'm gonna up the ratings first individually. Yep, because obviously with them coming out in September, what I don't understand is that they don't, to me, their tendencies should be where you left off last year. They shouldn't be set back to default or whatever, because I'm sure they have a default tendencies, and then there's the progressive tendencies that have been changed throughout the year. But as you've noted, they don't do a good, like the person doing the rosters rating, who was on fire when he first joined on, all of a sudden it's kind of tampered off a bit in his performance. It seemed like they resort back to their default tendencies and not their tendencies that they left off. I'm like, it should be like, if you think about it, the continuity between last year's game and this year's game, there's always a reset. So it's just like, wait a minute, towards the end of the season they were doing this. Now you put at beginning of the season last year, they're doing the same thing starting at the beginning of the season this year. It should be, okay, whatever their tendencies were at the end of the season should be their tendencies when they come in to the following season or game. Because obviously they changed their tendencies for a reason, and then they're going to do the same thing. So just continue the story of how the player evolves. I think that's what Bills is asking for. That's what I'm asking for. I think a lot of players would appreciate it if whoever's doing the roster would look into that and follow that a little bit better. Bill says, yeah, I think he's lazy. No one can convince me otherwise. Yeah, that tends to happen, especially now that they're the only ones that were really working on rosters the whole entire time. I don't know. I'm like, Live was doing it, but they Live, that series is missing that thing they had in Live 10. If they had that thing in Live 10 and worked off of that, and for how that was jettisoned is suicide. Was suicide and continues to be suicide for that game. And it's funny because I know I'm one of the people in the beginning joking about Live, but at some point it gets sad. You feel sorry for the team over there, but then again I don't, because I don't really see the effort to really fix that game over there. So I forgot what it was called, but okay. So here's some other sliders, other parts of the sliders. Um, oh, and I'm realizing that, and Bills and I talked about this before, is that you're gonna have to have different slider sets between the NBA and the WNBA. Because when you play the WNBA, yeah, I'm like, I would think overall pass speed would be lowered because it's the WNBA, and that's not a slight. I'm just saying that there are women that pass the ball, and they have crisp passes and stuff like that. I could possibly keep it the same, but it just depends. But there are certain things that are very much different in the WNBA game than an NBA game, and I could flesh that out further with a proper slider set for the WNBA. Oh yeah, that's what I did. That was after talking with Prime. Oh God, that was. Don't get me started on Prime. Let me actually let me continue with these sliders. Let me go all the way down. This was another thing that I adjusted with the WNBA. I don't have the slider set saved, but when I go work on them for the WNBA, I make sure that the top speed is lowered. There's honestly, I don't think there's one woman that could outrun I don't think there's one female in the WNBA that can outrun a man in the WNBA in the NBA. So when I do the this speed with the ball and everything will be lower, like vertical will be lower, and also the tendency, because Prime, now as much as a fool that he can be, at the beginning I felt like he brought out a good point about the types of dunks that he witnessed. Now I'm not gonna say that that's not happening in the game, because in my experience I haven't seen one female dunk, which, okay, everyone's gonna have a different experience. He's experienced a windmill dunk by and he's named two players in particular that this has happened with. He's named two type of dunks and the two females that he's been able to dunk with. And I was like, okay, cool. So I checked those two females out, and I was just like, you know what? I could see that. Now I also checked with my sister because she watches the WNBA closer than I do. And those two women in particular, she says she's seen them dunk. So I'm taking her word for it. She's seen them dunk. Now, I didn't really ask him the frequency, because he went into some bullshit about, oh, they're not supposed to, like he said something on the lines of, oh, they don't dunk, they can't dunk, or they shouldn't dunk, or something like that. I don't have time to bring up the exact quote, but it got into that, and it was just like, come on now, don't make yourself. I'm gonna use the SJW word, misogynistic. But yeah, Prime was sounding a bit misogynistic in his tweets. So instead of rashing him and just blanketing him with a statement of misogyny, I asked for specifics. I was like, okay, so I forgot what I asked him, but it was along the lines of what type of dunks, and asking again, and just correcting him. And was just like, look, just say what type of dunks that you don't think fit, because I'm the one on Twitter, it's all recorded, that I'm the one who has stated that any females that can dunk should have a rim raiser package. And mostly it'll be the running dunk, because most of the dunk situations that you see in the WNBA that have occurred, Lisa Leslie, Candace Parker, Brittany Griner, and maybe a couple others, they've been running starts. I think Brittany is the only one that can easily probably do a standing dunk, but they don't get it. They barely get it. So, oh yeah, that is true. Bill says a lot of folks are ignorant to the WNBA. They shouldn't speak on it. I'm telling you the truth. I'm partially ignorant to it as well, but unlike those other folks that remain ignorant and claim ignorance of others while showing their ignorance at the same time, I go and check out a few games, some highlight clips, and even in this exchange, I was just like, dude, I watched the game. Lisa Leslie was the first female to dunk in a pro game, in a pro WNBA game. I watched that. I wasn't at the Forum or Staples Center. It was, but the fact that I watched that on TV and it happened, that was a huge accomplishment. So that's why it's not. Once that happened, okay, that's happened. I want to see if there are other females that'll be able to dunk, but it's not going to have that appeal as when Lisa Leslie did it. So you see a Brittany Griner, you see a Candace Parker dunk. I'm like, good, there are more females that can dunk. But noticing how they dunk, it's a rim grazer package. It fits them perfectly. So yeah, that's the awful part. People they want to remain ignorant and continue to be in the same bubble that they were when they started. So, all right, so get into this Bradley Beal shoot around. So what I like to do, oh good, green release right out the gate. Now here's another thing. Me and Bill talked about this last night, was that the whole, hold up, let me see, there it is. Okay, so was the whole, like, if you get a green release, like right there, remember this is Hall of Fame, so the fact I'm getting green releases is pretty good. But the fact that I could see it, I don't want to see it. Bill doesn't want to see it. People like us don't want to see the green release if we have the shot meter turned off. If we have that turned off, we should not see that little feedback. Now I'm starting to miss because I'm out of rhythm. Okay, I don't know how I made that one. That didn't even feel good, leaving the hand. See, this is the whole, there we go. That was too much. Yeah, I can tell that was gonna be long. Okay, nope, that felt like I had to hit it just right. But this is also a hot spot over here. What I realized, see, if you turn this on in practice mode, it gives you a hot spots. There are 3 spots on the floor that he's high from, that he's more likely to get a green release. So I know in the game, I want him in these areas. Now, he can shoot from every other area just fine. It's just that he's more likely to get a green release if he's over here. Now, there we go. And he's a volume shooter, so, oh, wait a minute. Let me do a course correction on that. Because that's a good thing. You can go in here, you can check out his, hold on, let's see, see, that's, okay, I'm not even going to talk about that because that's a sore spot with me, with wear and tear being in games. The fact that one game does it. Alright, so we're looking at Bradley Beal here. So he has 3 finishing badges. He has consistent finisher, contact finisher, and relentless finisher. I'm sure if this were Michael Jordan, these 3 would be all gold. But that's, I know this may sound ridiculous, but I put Bradley Beal in the same mold as Michael Jordan. Only reason I do is because height, weight, and how they have emerged. Now, Bradley Beal is that opposite, because Jordan was the one that would drive all the time. And then he developed not that he developed a jump shot, but then he started, as he got older, he went into his jump shot a little bit more to mitigate the punishment he was receiving. Skinnier dude. Bradley Beal built like a football player. So he was that outside shooter, but he always had potential to do it all. Look at him now. So Bradley Beal, I hope that he becomes that Michael Jordan-like player. And it's funny because people, they crown their Michael Jordans by looking at LeBron, Kevin Durant, and stuff like that. But those are different player types. You can't really compare them to Jordan, because Jordan wasn't doing what they were doing, because they have different roles. They have different, because Kevin Durant is an elite shooter. Jordan wasn't an elite shooter. He was an elite finisher, elite scorer, but he wasn't an elite shooter. I'm like, his 3-point percentage was in the 20s at one point. I'm like, he even Jordan in the Portland Trailblazer series, the shrug was for a reason. He didn't know he can shoot threes. It was like he was in the zone. Boom, he was just knocking them down. I watched that game live, and it was amazing to watch. I was like, damn, this dude can shoot threes all of a sudden? When did this happen? So, all right, so look at 13 Bradley Beal badges. Now, damn, Green Machine, Hot Start, Slippery, Off Ball, Tireless Shooter, Volume, I told you, Volume Shooter, Deadeye. Now, note had Deadeye. Deadeye has made its way to Madden. People, I don't know if people really talked about the quarterbacks that had Deadeye. And there were all different types of Deadeye. High, low Deadeye, inside the numbers Deadeye, outside the numbers, downfield Deadeye, all types of Deadeyes. And it was just like, that's strictly taken from, and not stolen. I don't participate in the whole, the 2K took this from live and blah, 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 blah. No, I don't participate in that. I encourage that to happen because we want games to eventually have a common ground. So we can go from a basketball game to a football game and have a common base of what these traits do. By now, everybody knows what Deadeye does, no matter if it's in basketball or in football. So, difficult shots, hot zone hunter. See, and that's what I'm saying. This one right here, this is why especially there are 3 spots on the floor. 2 of them on the corner and on the sides. Well, the 2 on the side and 1 underneath the basket. Those are his 3 hot spots. Now, of course, when you're playing my league, that can change in the course of a season. At first, it's based on what your initial stats are, but those change. You can go cold on that left side and it no longer becomes a hot spot. Then it could be top of the key. It could be wherever your player is shooting the best from. That's when it becomes a hot spot. That's why Ace is so good the way it is, because you can actually, you look at these stats as you go throughout the season, you're like, okay, well, I need to make sure that this person doesn't see that part of the court. A lot of things. All right, so pump fake maestro, range extender, steady shooter, catch and shoot, clutch shooter. And he has 3 playmaking, which is bailout, space creator, and stop and go. And of course, he has no defense rebounding badges. But if I go to John Wall, he's got like, what, how many? He's got like, what? 16, 31, 39. He has 39 badges. So, but we're talking about Bradley Beal here. He's the practice player. So I'm going to go back to shooting with him. Now, when I take this shot, I'm going to do something real quick. Because I'm just going to end somebody's life on this. So we're going to start running with Bradley Beal. Tell me what you guys see. Here, boom, hit here. You probably can hear the button pressing as I make each turn. you can actually control everything on there. I'm like, you can control the speed that it comes out of, like here, like okay, there. Now let's try that again. Okay, not as reactionary, but you're talking about somebody going one speed and then takes 2 steps there. All right, let me try this again, see if I can do it. And if you want to, oh, don't tell me my internet's going down. Great, that's not what I want. I hate when that happens. So if this stream goes down, I'll probably start it back up again, but I just wanted to at least get this part out the way, because somebody did the whole thing with not being able to control. Like, if you actually go and run, you're not going to be able to do a lot of this at full speed. Especially if you're going at a full speed. See how he does that? He's running at full speed. Boom. It's going to take him a little bit to stop and go. That's momentum. That's what that is. Now, if I would go like this, it's not going to take him as much. So you don't have to use turbo. You can get that one plant and go. And this is what we wanted. We wanted stuff like this. Now there's definitely a little bit of sliding there occurring. It's there. It's a video game. It's not egregious, but it's there. You can see it. Those of us that are paying attention can see it. All right, back to shooting. Oh, I thought I was gonna come in and it just hit that. That would have been slick too. That would have been like Mr. Perfect. Like, there we go. Hit that green release. All right, let's turn the hot zones off. See, the thing with Beal I'm trying to get is a lot of times he'll shoot off the dribble, and just trying to understand. Now, here's the thing. I know we talk about how good the game is, but I'm not gonna sit here and cap for it. Not saying that you are, but there are a lot of things that 2K pays attention to, and the fact that it took notes from live is probably a great compliment to the details that live put in. It's just that live just didn't really focus too much on details. They started resorting to street ball and start acting a fool, basically making it NBA Live 19 NBA Street 19 instead of an NBA basketball game. Like, half of the time it focused on, damn, I actually missed that floater. Huh. Okay, I gotta make sure. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to. There we go. Do some more practice. Now here's the funny part. Okay, I get over here. Now of course he has his hot zone is here, but for some reason, even with not knowing that, for some reason I feel like I could shoot better here. Note that he's stepping into his shot, trying to get in the rhythm here. There we go. There we go, green release. Getting the rhythm here. Oh, that was off. Yeah, it just felt wrong. Okay, there we go. This is pretty much stuff you have to do to get used to how the game plays every single year. Get into 2KU, get your shots up. This is kind of some of the same stuff that Zara would say, but I'm a firm believer that you play how you practice. Now, There it is. Boom. Little pump fake right there. There we go. There we go. All right. So like I said, I'm just over here just shooting around. If anybody else wants to chime in, I think Bill's is the only one in here. As I figure, people are probably at work listening to this, so they're just listening in. Shooting around with Beal because this is the main guy. I want to make sure I get his shot down. And the funny thing is that I'm not the type of person that plays with multiple teams. I like the Wizards. They're my hometown team. I used to like the Bulls back in the day. And that was when, obviously it was when MJ. And the funny thing about my history with the Chicago Bulls is that at first I liked the team called the Bullets. That was the Wizards before they changed their name. And then all of a sudden I was watching a game on, and local folks will know what the name of this channel called Home Team Sports. It was HTS. And that was pretty much before there was Masson and I think Comcast Sports Network, Washington or whatever. But Home Team Sports, that's where you seen like announcers like Phil Chenier, Steve Buckhantz. Oh God, I hate when that happens. Okay, the ball's off the court. But all right, there we go. Okay, I just wanted to do that because sometimes I do that in real life, that little half spin. But yeah, just to go back on that story. So I was watching the Bullets play, and then all of a sudden there's this dude that's just single-handedly destroying the Bullets. I'm like, who the? Well, I was probably like 7 years old when I saw this. I'm like, who is this cat that's just destroying my team? And then it was like the more and more I saw this cat, I was like, really, it was the fact they had my last name. My last name is Jordan. For those of you who don't know, have been under a rock for like many, many years that I've been on social media or YouTube. I'm probably one of the people that you know that officially their last name is Jordan. And literally, I've taken that to heart, not just because it's my family last name, but just for the fact that when I play sports, you know, everyone talks about Be Like Mike, but his last name is Jordan. I'm not saying we're related. I'm just saying that there comes responsibilities with having that last name and having that mentality. Everyone talks about the mama mentality. I'm like, nah. I'm like, there were no Bryant rules. There was none of that when it came to like how you change your whole defensive game plan for one player. I'm like, yeah, you game plan for Kobe Bryant, but they literally had to physically manhandle Jordan, and he even beat that. So when you're able to just beat a whole set of rules that was supposed to stop you in the first place, you've moved beyond the point of being just a superstar best player in the NBA. You become GOAT. So, but that's my opinion. I'm not gonna say that's a pure fact, but he did beat the Jordan rules. That's indisputable. He did beat the Jordan rules, and there were no Bryant rules. I would like to say there were LeBron rules, but that whole thing was just making him shoot jump shots, which he can hit jump shots, and especially he started getting better at three-pointers. But overall, you don't want, like LeBron at the size he is, you don't want him to drive with a full head of steam. So just like you don't want to give Jordan any motivation. I think if anything, if you motivated Jordan, if you challenged him, he basically his energy was fed off of his opponents. Oh God, That's funny when it happens, when the basketballs collide. And it was just so funny to Bradley Beal looking at it like, what the hell? Like it just sailed over his head. So you know what's funny? You can literally talk about life while doing these shoot-arounds. Like all the ups and downs in sports, all the ups and downs in real life. And it's like, when I used to do this, like I would go outside and go to the local courts and do these shoot-arounds, I'd be contemplating life on the court. Like literally would like start playing games, start challenging myself. Like most people they think you can just go to the court and you can just hoop, but that's not the case. My whole thing when I played was that what was it? Oh, it didn't fall. Was that when I played, I always looked at the fact, let me throw this. Oh, he didn't throw the dunk down. Okay. I always looked at the fact that I wasn't the most skilled person on the court. I labeled myself as a streaky shooter. But the consistent thing about me was that I could play defense, and I was willing to play defense, and I was going to make you work on offense off the ball. People used to hate the fact, I used to do this. Okay. I'm just reenact how I would operate on the court. So we're going to use Bradley Beal as an example now. I don't think anyone's ever did this before, so this will be a first that anyone's ever seen. I don't know if anybody's really watching, I don't care, but this is how I would operate on the court. So, you know, ball's passed in, I would come down, start right here, and then I would kind of do this, make my way down. Oh, I didn't mean to grab the ball, and then sometimes I would get it. I wouldn't do that, but damn, I wish I could. Can I do this on the other end? Okay, good. And there's a ball down here. Okay, so let's do it from this way. Okay. So I would run down the court. I would get to like the wing right here. Sometimes I would find myself over here in the corner. But what would happen is that I would literally come out here. Sometimes I run out here. Sometimes I run the baseline and get right here. It just, and this is also a good moment where you can see you can practice all your off-ball stuff. So that little jab step right there. You can do a spin move right there. See, this is stuff that folks are not going to take advantage of, is taking the time to learn your off-ball stuff. Like you can do a spin move while you're off-ball. Like look at that. Boop. There you go. You just got to know when to do it. Like if I want to do it here, and kick back out, boom, get the ball. There you go. I would do stuff like this in a real game. And you know how annoying it was? And just imagine if people setting screens. Even if people weren't setting screens, I was literally using people for screens. I would literally go to the circle, be like, boop, gotcha. And then come out here. So, see, then what? Let's see. There it is, the little stutter. And you can do that when you're dribbling the ball. So if you go right here. Oh, double. That was neat. That was nice. They do a little double hezzy without the ball. That's even nice too. I think, hold up, how did I do that? I'm trying to figure out, is that a single tap or a double tap? Because turbo. Okay, no, it's a single. Okay, cool. See, it's funny. Yeah, Beal, I know you're tired, but you got to demonstrate for the folks at home. Boom, there you go. Let's see. Now, if I would let that play out, let me see, if I do that. Now, if I go that way. Ah, okay, so that's what it is. So it's... Okay, that's the jab step. Jab. And then you can use the turbo as a burst button. That's... And you know what? Those moves right there, because you fake to the right, you hit the right analog, and then you time it when he plants his foot. This is the what was it, the one step in Madden? As soon as he plants his foot, you hit the turbo button, you can actually get that burst there. It's basically the one step. Now, hold up. That is funny because look at that. Okay. You know what I'm about to do? And they say you can't do basketball. You can't do football stuff in basketball. Let's see if I can do it. All right. I did a 10-yard dig. All right, so we're gonna do this again for the folks at home. All right, ready? Hit. All right, let's do an out. And we're gonna go right here. All right, ready? Hit. Oh, I did it wrong. Hold up. Let me do it again. All right. It's gonna because he's facing where the passes are, so it's gonna come out. Hold up. Okay, this is how I can do it. Let me go from right here. I know, right? Oh, I didn't want him grabbing the ball. All right, just shoot the ball. There you go. All right, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this again. And Beal, I know you're tired, but you're gonna have to demonstrate for the folks at home. All right, so, all right, ready, hit. And it's funny because I wonder if you can do a stop and go. All right, let's do it. Stop and go. All right, ready. Ah, I did it wrong. Oh. Okay, I did this wrong. All right, let me see what we got here. All right, ready, go. That's funny because you could see that animation happening. Like, and I used to play wide receiver. I'm sure Bradley Beal's played football in his career, but I played wide receiver. And there are some moments where you're like, you put both your hands up. In Madden, sometimes they put their one hand up. I've never seen them like kind of go like this, wave both their hands up, but it's just funny, a lot of stuff. Hold up. It's funny, let me try this again. And we're gonna get back into the basketball side of things. Oh, look at that, look at all that stuff. Like all those animations, those are interesting. All right, let's get back to basketball. Cause, ew. That looked ugly as shit. Yeah, I would have to agree. Pez with the whole running mechanics, and it's funny because they literally were the main ones to incorporate their I forgot what they called it. What engine that they use? Their movement engine that they brought over from Metal Gear and incorporated it into see, it's okay. It's probably not gonna do it here. Hold up. Let's see. All right. Now he's in the post, and I'm the only thing that. Okay, let me get here. I'm in the post. Now I'm hitting the. He can move, but it's like that's the movement. Now if I go like this, I can jab step, move, jab step, stuff like that. It's before you dribble. Okay, so let me see. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good. Thanks. I didn't even realize it. It's basically okay. So towards the basket, away from the basket. Okay, face them towards the basket. Jab to the right, jab to the left, jab to the right, jab to the right. There we go. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right, cool. Just learning this. There we go. See, they won't let you do a fake pass in here because you're not in game. See, there's your jab step. Alright. And there's your post fade right there. Okay, so when you can open up baseline or towards the paint. But obviously one of the things that people are having to get adjusted to overall is momentum dribbling, momentum shooting, and stuff like that. Just being able to understand that your shots are not going to just, like last year, they used to just pop up and not take that extra step. And that was one of the things I was worried about, because with 2K versus Live had that momentum based shot taken, and it was at one point I remember describing Live as having the best experience as far as when you would shoot the ball, you actually felt how smooth it was. And now I'm starting to see how 2K is implementing that, and that's actually for the better. That's what basketball is all about. At the end of the game, Live or 2K, they're taking from basketball. They're not stealing from one another. And you know what? Some of you dummies and idiots that sit here and be like, oh, 2K is stealing from Live, or Live is stealing from 2K. That's bullshit, because they're both taking from basketball. I'm like, that's what you want. At the end of the day, that's what you want these sports games to mimic. Basketball. I'm like, actual physics exists in all games, exists in real life. It matters who does it, because it does. You do see a difference on how one team does it over another. I know I was talking to another YouTuber, Romy Rush, shout out to him. I was talking to him this morning, and when you're looking at these games, you definitely have to look into like how people make these games. You definitely have to look like within the game itself. Like once you get your hands on it, you can see the good, you can see the bad. But at the end of the day, what solutions are you going to bring to the table when you create content? I'm like, are you going to sit here and just complain about everything and not come up with a solution, or not come up with a suggestion other than don't purchase the game? I'm like, I think it's a very simple, very caveman-like response to when things go wrong. I think the true testament of a content creator is what solutions they provide once they see a problem. I'm like, it's kind of a thing that they teach you in the military, to be solutions oriented. Like, you presented with a problem, how do you go about, what steps do you take to mitigate the situation? Now, understanding that you're not going to fix everything, and if you can properly identify the problem, and if that problem is something that you can't handle on our end, like on the user's end, then you go after the devs. You go after the devs of like, okay, so what, and go after them with questions instead of the way that instead of the way people are going about it, that's getting their interaction. And what I'm seeing, I know a bunch of us were talking in the DMs, but then just seeing how people are reacting to devs, I swear, but it sounds like a bunch of little kids that are doing this, but obviously kids are in school. So you got grown-ass people reacting in this manner, in this passive-aggressive manner, because I tell you, some of these devs were in some of these people's faces, most of these people wouldn't say shit. I'm like, the biggest thing was when Zara's wife was threatened. Yeah. Somebody would get their ass whooped over that. And listening to Zara talk about that, yeah, somebody would have got their ass whooped. Zara would have beat somebody's ass over that. But People on Twitter are going to be people on Twitter. That's why there is a Twitter for people, for passive aggressive people to oh, that was nice, to do their thing. You know, social media is giving a voice for people that can't fight. Now, I'm not saying I'm a fighter. I just learned that fighting doesn't solve anything, and I learned that at an early age. I learned to use my words. So, and that was before the social media even got into it. I'm 39 years old. I figured that shit out in elementary school. So if cats can't figure that out now, they can't handle, because people used to fight in elementary school. I don't know what happens now. But yeah, you can't be going out here threatening devs, family members. You can't be going out here threatening devs' lives. And definitely don't be out here threatening devs in a fight, because half of y'all can't fight anyway. Shoot, you know, 3/4 of you guys can't fight. So, and we already proved that there are certain commentators out here that act all tough, but they can't fight, won't fight. Even when presented with the opportunity physically in their face, they will find a way to back out. Oh, it was a while back. I think it was during the demo, and it was I think Zara talked about it just for a brief second. He just mentioned it in passing, but it's just like, you know, that's not okay. It's not cool. And knowing damn well that half these people, when say half, 3/4 of this shit that they say to these devs and possibly to their family members, I'm like, we already know how far people have gone. I'm like, had Rex Dixon threatened, even to threaten his family at one point. I'm sure they're gonna get to Clint. I don't know if Clint has a family, and you already seen that tweets are gone from his page. I don't know if he was hacked, or if or if he's eventually gonna just delete his Twitter account altogether. And it's just like, people are definitely ruining the opportunity to contribute to the community or contribute to improving these games. Now, I know personally, I'm not out here capping for any company. I'm always about the people. Like, when it comes to inch, but at the same time, people are not above reproach. They will get roasted if they deserve it. So, because I've been told, by when I had a little bit of interaction with Hard 8, I was told by him, why am I blaming the people? I'm just like, when it's the companies that are to blame, and it's just like, but people are responsible for their actions, and if they act irresponsibly, they're gonna get these jokes, they're gonna get these roasts, they're gonna get this fire. They're gonna get it. I'm like, everybody's accountable. Nobody's above accountability. I even told Romy Rush that if I need to be called out on something, tell me. You know, some people, they put stuff out there, and you know, Bill's had a post on Facebook, but we also talked about this last night. And this actually goes for the developers, because you do have soft-skinned developers. And in the same token, Czar, you can be a little, you know, suspect when it comes to when people just criticize what you do with NBA 2K. You could be a little thin-skinned there, but you're an artist. Criticism is expected with the territory. I understand if people take it too far, that's too much. But when people are like, "Hey, what were you thinking when you did this?" That's inside the lines. If you're getting mad at that, then I don't know what to tell you. That's not going to stop. Maybe you shouldn't be making a game if you're not cut for that type of criticism. You know, when people are trying to be critical of a game, and this goes for Madden developers, this goes for the MLB The Show developers, this goes for anybody who develops games. You're an artist. If your art is suspect, it's going to be criticized. Bills is a musician. Me and him have talked, and I'm one of the first people that be like I'm one of the few, not, I'm gonna say few people. I'm one of those people that will forego the compliments because I know he did good, but I will look at something, take my feelings out of it, and take it straight up. Hey, I remember one time I told Bills, I was like, this, it sounds like like, I'm not afraid to throw suggestions in there. Like, okay, if this were to like have an added octave or whatnot, and as a singer, I know like the pitch of how you sing or the tone of your voice is very important in songs. It can dictate a lot of things, especially when you're trying to, set a mood. Oh, Sham God. That wasn't even smooth at all. I need to practice that. But Bill's not a Sham God type of ball handler. He's in the mode of a first step. And I think he's getting tired because he's not moving the way he normally was. Hold on, let me check his thing, check his stuff out. Oh, it doesn't change, so he's not really tired, but I can kind of tell he's tired. But yeah, that could change the whole tone of the song, and it may not be the tone that you wanted to set in the first place. But again, as an artist, you look for that criticism to improve, and that's what I would think Czar would look for. Not take it personally when someone is talking about his work. I'm like, yeah, I would say Czar, as far as with basketball, it is personal to him. I would assume it's personal to him because he reacts in certain manners when people criticize his portion of NBA 2K. But at the end of the day, just gotta understand, people are gonna criticize what you do, and you just have to accept it. I'm like, but like I said, just distinguish what is constructive criticism and then what is just unreasonable criticism. I think that's also hard to decipher at times, especially on Twitter with no context. The person replying to one of his tweets may come into it with no context. You have new 2K players that will complain about certain things. It's a whole lot of stuff. So responding to this message.